Here's the #1 cause for a wind knot. I call it a spool face crossing. There it is right there. This happens when you close your bail at the end of a cast, the line does not get accurately picked up by the bail, and the first wrap ends up looking like this. Then, if you don't notice this, when you make your next cast, as the line that's overlying that peels across your spool face, it will snag on this and prematurely pull this loop of line out from underneath the wrapped line in your reel, along with overlying wraps on top of it, and that's going to result in a big tangled mess. That's going to shoot through your guide sometimes. You'll hear it shooting through, and you'll see that knot out there. Another thing that can happen, though, is as this shoots through your guides, one of the loops in this big tangly knot can wrap around your guide, and suddenly you'll hear a big crack, and your line is broken, and there goes your line, and you won't be able to figure out what happened because there's no knot to find when it's broken in that manner. I'm hoping that all of you have realized the benefits of converting an automatic bail closure into a manual bail closure on all your reels. Large reels with heavy handles tend to spin during the cast, and it'll hit the automatic bail closure mechanism. That bail will close in the middle of your cast, and everything will come to an abrupt stop, and you'll snap off your lure. One of the most frustrating things that can ever happen during surf casting. If you remove that automatic bail closure linkage, it doesn't make any difference if that those bail arms spin forever during your cast, because there is no point where there's an automatic trip of your bail. This is the best thing you can do to any surf spinning reel, especially ones that are larger reels with heavier handles. Well, now I'm going to show you how I avoid spool face crossings. Those are by far the #1 reason that guys get wind knots. First of all, I like to make my cast with the reel spool at its most extended position. In other words, where the bail is going to pick up the line and make its first wraps at the bottom of the reel spool. I don't want to make a cast with my reel at its most down position, because then when I close my bail, it's going to start wrapping up near the lip of the spool in an area where it can more easily make a spool face crossing. One way to achieve the proper spool position prior to casting, in other words its most extended position, is to achieve your normal line drop and look at your reel, see what position that reel spool is in. If it's not in the correct position, simply bump off a little line like this by opening and closing the bail quickly, and then reel back up until your proper line drop is achieved along with the proper spool position. The other way to achieve the proper spool position prior to casting is to reel your reel until the spool is fully extended and go beyond your normal line drop. And then when the spool is extended and you're beyond your normal line drop, you can simply pull out a little line against your drag to achieve your normal line drop, and the spool will remain in its most extended position. Now I'm going to show you how I close my manual bail at the end of the cast. Some people call this basic line control. And when I close it in this manner, I'm avoiding a spool face crossing when my bail closes. Remember, spool face crossings are the #1 cause for a wind knot. So my spool is in the position that I prefer to have in, and that's in its most extended position. We're going to make the cast. Now your bail arms are going to rotate around a little bit while the line is going out. So while the line is going out, I'm taking my hand and I'm feeling those bail arms, and I'm moving the bail to this position where it's directly above the reel. When it's time to close the bail, I'll cup this line in my fingers and close the bail with my thumb. At the same time, I'm going to draw this line into the bail roller and draw it tight. There you go. You can't have a spool face crossing if you'll do it like that. I hate wind knots so bad that I actually do one initial thing before I make every cast. I visually look at the spool face before I cast to make sure there's not a spool face crossing. Or if it's dark out, I'll run my finger around the rim of the spool to feel if there's a spool face crossing. If you'll do this before you cast every time and ingrain this into the way you cast all the time, you'll save yourself all kinds of line, you'll save yourself lots of lures, and you'll save yourself a whole lot of frustration. It should be ingrained so that it's automatic and you always do this. If you find that you do have a spool face crossing before you cast, never try to cast that out, even gently. The only solution to this is to drop your lure onto the beach and walk off that line until you peel that spool face crossing off. I guarantee you, if you try to cast that out even gently, you're going to end up with a great big wind knot.